The Senate Indian Affairs Committee will come to order. This is an oversight hearing on identifying barriers to Indian housing development and finding solutions. I want to thank all the witnesses for being here today, and we look forward to hearing your testimony. This afternoon, as I said, the committee is holding an oversight hearing on Indian housing, and this is the committee's first hearing of this session, and so I'm very much looking forward to working with all our committee members and Vice Chairman Barrasso and addressing many issues that are important to tribal governments and will help improve the lives of Native Americans. One of these issues that we must address early this year is the Native American Housing Assistance Self-Determination Act, which expires in September of this year. Since this act was implemented in 1998, 31,000 Indian families now live in newly constructed housing units, and another 64,500 Indian families have been able to rehabilitate their homes through the Indian Housing Block Grant Program. Through the Section 184 Indian Home Loan Guarantee Program, 18,000 loans have been guaranteed for a total of more than $2.9 billion to tribal recipients. Despite this progress, the housing needs in Indian country remain great. And currently, American Indians make up 8% of the country's homeless population, despite being only 1% of the general population. Nearly 64,000 of American Indians live in overcrowded conditions, and nearly 25% live in housing units that have severe structural needs. So today's hearing is an important first step in identifying areas where housing programs are working well and determining where improvements can be made. The committee will look at programs across the federal agencies to see where processes can be streamlined and run more efficiently. And as you can see, there are going to be some examples today on the construction of homes that can involve tribal governments and 4 different separate federal agencies. We also want to make sure that tribes have flexibility that they need to make sure that the improvement in these programs come in the long of innovation and improving housing conditions. Recently, the Makah tribe in Washington state announced that it was using a combination of its block grant funding and low-income housing tax credits to develop 21 low-income housing units in Sail River Heights, a tribal housing development started by the tribe in 2007. So we want to make sure that we are looking at what is needed in this reauthorization to ensure that all tribes and their members are provided safe and affordable housing, and that housing programs meet the needs of tribal members well into the future. Today we will hear from the Department of Housing's Urban Development Office of Native Programs on their recommendations for what can be done legislatively to improve housing programs. And we will also hear from Native American, the Indian Housing Council, the largest tribal organization representing tribes and tribal housing entities. And finally, we will hear from 3 tribal housing directors from the Puyallup tribe of Washington, and I want to specifically welcome them, and the Oglala Sioux tribe and the Choctaw tribe. So these housing directors manage 3 different programs, and I'm pleased that they're here today because they're going to share a broad perspective of their experiences and recommendations for ways that committees can improve the housing programs in the reauthorization. Now I'd like to ask the Vice Chairman, Senator Barrasso, if he has an opening statement.